Hey, it's Mr. Johns. Welcome to this episode of 3D Fingerboard Park in SketchUp. And so what we're going to do is add on to our existing Fingerboard Park. If you haven't seen episodes 1, 2, and 3, you might want to go back and watch those first, where we have created the launch ramp, the kicker ramp, the grind rail, the stairs, and then a quarter pipe. We just made 2 of those, put those together to make a half pipe. And then we finished up by making a pretty simple wave ramp, which is really just a smooth up and down. So that was the first time I had ever made any of these except for the stairs for houses and other structures in SketchUp. But all in all, these have been pretty simple. I'm really happy with the half pipe. I think that just looks fun. I wish it was real and I could actually use it. The wave ramp, I think I probably could have done better on, but that's really all it is a simple kind of up and down. That's it, really, right? So we want to add on a couple things to make this a full fingerboard park. So we're going to take a look at a spine ramp, and a spine ramp can be angled or it can be flat. So first we'll take a look at how to make a really simple straight spine, and we're gonna start by just making a rectangle on the ground like we always have, and we'll keep it about the same size as we've been making everything else, which has been, roughly 200 or 300 millimeters long by 100 millimeters. 200 to 300 millimeters long, yeah, by 100 millimeters wide. So other than the half pipe and the stairs, which we made wider just for safety and for fun, most of these little things are 100 millimeters wide, and we're going to be making these in cardboard or foam, and so these are the exact measurements. We'll be making them for real as well. So here, if you find yourself not able to just snap a perfect rectangle, you can just make sure you have a line that's on axis and then delete any little hangover piece, which I just did. So now I have a 200 by 100 millimeter rectangle on the ground, and if you notice that if you roll your mouse along the line, it says you're on edge and it gives you a rectangle, but as soon as it finds the middle of the shape, it'll tell you midpoint and turn into a blue circle. SketchUp is really smart that way, and you can use that to your advantage. And so the first thing I'm going to try is just grabbing the move tool. There we go. And I'm going to move this. This is how you can make pyramids, triangles. Oh, except for mine was not straight up. So we want to make sure that when we do grab that move tool, that it is on the blue axis, which I'm having a hard time finding. So if it's on the blue axis, it'll be going straight up, and sometimes it's just your viewpoint. That right now it says on green axis. I need blue. Blue. There's blue. No blue. Nope. Struggling a little bit with this. Sometimes it's just the angle and you want to rotate your view and it'll snap to, but I am not having much luck with that. So this is the first thing that came to my mind as far as making like a little ramp. Pretty simple. Just draw a line in the middle of a rectangle and pull it up, but not as easy as I had remembered. So there's probably a better way. In fact, let's just do it the easier way. I thought this was going to be the easier way, but that does work on occasion, and something is interfering. It could be the texture on the ground, who knows. But I'm just going to have a rectangle on the ground. This is exactly how I make a roof for a house. Just do a vertical line, make a triangle, rotate to the back side of the triangle, delete the line, and you end up with a solid triangle. Then you simply pull that across to the edge and let go. Boom, you have a simple flat spine ramp. Now if we do a search for spine ramp, that's what I'm doing right here, is I'm just going to Google spine ramp, skateboard spine ramp. I want to see, are they usually curved, are they sloped? So here's a good example of one. So this is a quarter pipe spine. So it does have a slope to it, which makes total sense. Rarely do you have a flat ramp like that, but you know, it would work, right? That could be a type of skateboard or fingerboard obstacle ramp, but I have a feeling that really what we should do is just make it look like this, and in that case we've already done half of it, so we're going to go ahead and use what we already have, and that is to grab our first launch ramp and make a copy of it. As a matter of fact, make 2 copies of it. Let's leave the other launch ramp alone. Let's make 2 copies of this. Let's rotate one. Try to find the top flat view. There we go, flat. Click once and then rotate your mouse and click again once you have it where you like it. And then remember, the best thing to do is snap corner to corner. And I know this is a little bit out of view here. I'll slide it over a bit, but you grab the corner and snap it to the corner, and you end up with a much better spine ramp, which is what I should have done to begin with. So for your assignment, you will do exactly that. Ignore my first one and just make 2 copies of your launch ramp, rotate one, snap them together, and then move them. Sometimes you have to double click a tool. Move it and slide it over here where I can see it. You'll be taking a screenshot of all of these, so you want to have them relatively close together so the screenshot will be easier and you can zoom in as much as possible. So a lot of times along the top of the spine they'll have a pipe or a metal piece to slide on, to grind on, but sometimes they don't. So we're going to go ahead and just highlight this, and you don't have to do this part. Just ignore that. Move right on to the better spine ramp. So that would be much more fun to play on. So 2 spines snap together, make a good spine ramp. It's kind of the opposite of a half pipe. So with the spine in the middle. All right, don't forget to group it. So you want to highlight the whole thing, right click, make group, slide it over so it kind of fits nice next to the other thing. And then remember measurements here. Yeah, I'm thinking, woo, I could probably jump over this. I can go fast and make it a jump. I can go slower and I can drop onto the other side. I can go up on one end, like over on the side, and then kind of grind and slide over. There's a lot of things you can do on a simple spine ramp. So again, this is 200 millimeters by 100 millimeter. The height is really up to you. I think I went 50 millimeters tall on the original launch ramp. So it's really just 2 of those. You don't have to measure anything. You're just making 2. All right, so the next obstacle is going to be a little longer. We'll go back to the 300 millimeter. And remember, if you do a rectangle tool, click, drag, let go. Type in 300 mm, comma, 100 mm, enter, and you'll have a perfect 300 by 100 millimeter rectangle, and that's the fastest way to do that. And then, well, I'm going to make sure I pull up, make sure you highlight that. What I'm making here is a grind block. So anything you can grind on, this is basically to copy like a curb, a sidewalk, and it's the easiest thing on the screen. It is a rectangle. So if I just do a search for grind box, sorry, I said block, but grind box, you'll see they come in all shapes and they have different bends and angles to them. But in general, they're made to represent curbing. Any place you could grind, slide in a city setting. So a lot of times they have metal edging so that it doesn't get torn up, doesn't get roughed up, and it also doesn't tear up your board. So in this case, we're going to make, this is the simplest one to make. It's just a rectangle. And so 300 by 100, and we are 50 millimeters. I think we're 40 millimeters tall. So 40 tall, 100 wide, 300 long. And we'll measure that later. And of course, everything needs to be painted a different color, please. So that's the assignment. Everything is painted a different color. Even if it's wood, make sure the wood is different. And so I see a couple that I've got that are the same. I need to repaint. Like my spine ramp there is the same as my, well, because I copied it, right? So I'm okay with that. Okay, spine ramp and launch ramp can be the same because they are the same. Everything else should be a different color. Just want to make them stand out and pop. So let's just double check these measurements. Yeah, I was right. 40 millimeters tall. It's a little hard to see against the color of the ground, really. So I maybe shouldn't have painted that. I should have just left it white or gray. So anyway, so that's the grind box, and then our last obstacle is a pyramid ramp. Really cool because you can hit a pyramid ramp from 4 different sides, and it has lots of things to grind on. And so what I'm doing here is creating a 300 by 300 square. And so I click the rectangle tool, click, drag, let go, type in 300 mm, comma, 300 mm, enter, and we end up with a 300 by 300 square on the ground. And then we want to find the middle. Now, you know, to find the middle of a shape, the easiest way is to do an X. But we really don't want the middle. We want a smaller, because we want a flat top. Otherwise, we would have a triangle. We're not trying to make a pyramid. We're trying to make a pyramid with a flat top. So I'm using the offset tool. So if you go to the move tool, and then the bottom option under move is offset. Notice I can make an exact replica of that square, inside or outside. This is the tool we use for window frames, door frames, things like that. But I want there to be like a little square in the middle of this, and I'm gonna shoot for. I'm gonna see if I can. I've never done this before. I'm gonna see if I can type in a 50 millimeter, comma 50 millimeter, enter. I don't think that worked. So it didn't let me do that. Maybe that's not an option, but I am really close. I think I'm 54 millimeters, so I eyeballed that pretty close. So in this case, I want your outside diameter to be 300 by 300. The inside square, just make it small. Okay, shoot for somewhere around 40 to 50 millimeters. It's like a place to land. So, and then simply draw lines from the corners to the corners of that square, and you can see where we're going with this, I hope. We are simply going to raise the top up. That's what we were trying to do earlier with that spine ramp. In this case, I hope I can get it to work. So we want to select, make sure we select, not the numbers, select the flat square, and then move it up, 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 up. No, there we go, up. Now that looks weird because the paint job is moving, but it is going up. Now make sure you're on the blue axis. It has to be the blue axis. It's got to be going up. And I think I went off a little bit, so it may not be in the exact middle anymore, but it's pretty close. So how high did I go? I don't know. I'm not going to require, on this one, I'm not going to require a size on the small square or a particular height. I'm going to go ahead and paint this a different color so it stands out a little bit. But this particular obstacle, real skateboards and fingerboards, is super fun. You can see you can come up on all these different sides. You can grind up, you can grind down, you can land on the top, you can jump completely over. And so I'm going to see if it looks better without the ground painted. I don't know. It doesn't really stand out any different. I think I like it painted. And then the last thing I really should do is move the whole pyramid ramp over before I take a screenshot. But this will work. I just realized one side is not 300, so it's 315. So something got messed up there, and I'm going to show you how easy this is to fix. So I need to so it's 300 that way, but it's 315 the other way. So anytime you highlight a side like this, and I can push in, it moves the entire thing, and I can stop at 300 millimeters. Now I've fixed a little problem I had, and I'm 300 by 300. I don't know how tall I am. I'm not concerned at that. You can make it as tall as you want, but you know what I've done looks kind of realistic. Also, want to make sure that the top is in the middle. I think I did push one way more than the other, so I was not quite on the blue axis the entire time. But I mean, you could measure all 4 lines, and you could take the time to make sure it's in the very center. And you would probably want to if you're going to 3D print this or, you know, manufacture this, obviously. But for this is just kind of a demonstration of the things that we're going to build out of cardboard or foam next. So there we have, that's the undersides, actually hollow, but that's okay. Again, we're not 3D printing. So there we have the entire skate park, all, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 obstacles total, if we count the half pipe and quarter pipe as two separate things. And so 10 different obstacles, pretty easy to make in SketchUp, and I cannot wait to see how these look in real life. And so you'll take a screenshot and you will, you can either share this with me, share the file with me, or take a screenshot, like zoom in right here so I can see everything as good as possible, as well as possible. And so screenshot it or send me the SketchUp file. I don't really care how you get it to me, but I need you to get it to me from your email or a screenshot so I know you created it and it looks different than everybody else's. So, all right, so that's your assignment. I'm just going back through, just making sure I have all the measurements here. This is 50 tall, 100 wide, 100 deep. This one is 75 deep, 100 wide, and 25 millimeters tall. That seems to be the appropriate size for a kicker ramp. So those are the measurements I am looking for. So please include the dimension lines on everything so I can, I'll give you full credit if you've got the correct dimensions and dimension lines. So this little box is 15 by 15 and 25 tall. 15 by 15, 25 tall. Simply just made a group and I copied it. So I had two of them. You saw in the previous video how I lined those up. And then I made a circle that was 4 millimeter radius or 8 millimeter diameter to make those pipes. Stairs, each stair is 25 millimeters. The whole thing is 120, well, it's 100 millimeters deep, but I added the little kicker on top, the little flat area on top, not kicker, the little landing on top, so it's a little bit deeper than that. And then each quarter pipe is 275 deep, including the landing on top. I think I started with 200 and then I added the 75, and it's 100 wide. Okay, and then our wave is 100 wide, 300 long, and then the height is up to you. And you might get creative with that a little bit, but it was pretty simple the way I did it. And then our spine ramp is 200 long, 100 wide, and I'm pretty sure I did 50 tall, which on the original launch ramp, that was 50. So, okay, so those measurements will help you get this assignment correct. Just take it, there we go, 50 millimeters tall. Just take it one shape at a time and copy what I've done. And if you struggle, just let me know, and I'd be happy to show you in person how to do any of these. All right, so this one we're looking at 300 millimeters long. It's hard to see on the dark, that's for sure. This one's 40 millimeters tall. Okay, I wanted that to be a little shorter than the spine, and 100 wide. And then of course we've already been over the pyramid ramp. So hope that helps with this assignment, and you had some fun with it. For now, Mr. Johns is out.